Welcome to Victory Heat Rally.
Hello, welcome to SwitchedOn Gaming, Paul speaking, and today we are looking at Victory Heat Rally from the Platonic Friends, which I think is a great name for a publishing company. So yeah, this is a kind of retro racer. I'm just going to jump into some races here while we're chatting about this. Yeah, so a retro racer kind of based on the Super Scalar games from Sega. Also reminds me a little bit of some of the Super Nintendo games, sort of the Mario Kart-esque Mode 7 type games. If you played Power Drift in the arcade, I guess that's what the closest homage to this game is. So it's got kind of those winding, elevating tracks. It's not quite as mad as Power Drift, which I think the original trailers and early looks at this seem to indicate there's going to be a lot more like Power Drift. I think it's toned back a lot, whether that's due to performance issues or what, I'm not sure. But it's not quite as crazy as Power Drift was. So, bunch of characters to pick from. They all have varying abilities and stats. And my first bit of advice would be to really find someone that you're comfortable with, because I spent a long time in this game struggling with one of the other characters, struggling to finish races and struggling to win races, more importantly, until I, out of frustration, thought, well, let's try a different character. Tried Chrissy here, and then also you may have seen as I was picking a character, and we'll go back and have a look at that in a moment, but you can also adjust certain things on your car as well, so you can adjust the springs, tyres, also you can change the paint job as well, but that also all gives you a little bit more customization in terms of your handling. So I would say dial in a character and a car that you feel comfortable with is going to be my first bit of advice, although you won't believe it from my footage here. It's always hard to play these racing games and talk at the same time. So control wise, pretty basic. Got accelerate and a brake button and a separate drift button, a little bit like Mario Kart again, where you kind of jump and hold down your drift button to drift around the corners. And it employs a very similar system to Mario Kart, so the longer you hold that drift around the corner, the more a power bar fills up on the right hand side. And when you let go of your drift, you sort of spend all of that power to get a speed boost. I think there's 3 levels to that. And some of the later tracks, you really do need that to get a boost. And if you can sort of do well and time it right and stay on the track, you can really keep your speed up. If you boost a lot around all the corners, you can really keep your momentum right up, so worth learning. Most races are standard sort of race fodder, so against a bunch of AI opponents. This is a little bit of character for me, because all of the other races are just called sort of player 1, player 2, player 3. You know, there's not much in the way of getting you attached to any of the AI characters, which I think is a real shame. They could definitely have, you know, given each of the AI a name at least, would have been something. But you know, you could have easily given them individual characteristics and, you know, made some more aggressive than others. Real missed opportunity. It just feels really, really bland that the players are just called player 1, player 2. But there we are. So this is the arcade mode. We'll jump out of this. So this is just kind of your standard arcade mode. You've got to finish in the top 3 to progress.
3, 2, 1, go!
Let's jump out of that. Show you the other modes. So that's the arcade mode. We've also got this versus mode, and again a little bit cheeky here, because they've kind of got, if you look at the symbol, the purple symbol that I'm just flicking on, which does change when you go over it, but the versus symbol, here it looks like it's that kind of global, you know, standard symbol for global online play It isn't online play, so it's really weird. Some of the choices in this game are quite odd, but this is just a local online for up to 4 players. And you can choose to fill the grid out with AI. I think it's the kind of game that would lend itself quite well to local multiplayer because the graphics are obviously quite pixelated. You can't see the split screen there because there's nobody else playing, but yeah, you can have 4 players locally, which I guess, you know, if you've got friends or family that play video games, then quite fun. The main crux of the game is this championship mode. We will carry on from where I left off. It's got a weak story element to it. You get this Sally Rally, sort of a TV presenter, who will go through and basically narrate some of the upcoming races, just with text, no voiceovers. It's pretty annoying, to be honest, doesn't need to be there. But you go through a series of races, unlocking the next race as you go along. There are these Joker races every now and again, so they will be different to your standard races and will have different effects applied to them basically. So this one, Cone Zone. So this particular one has you hitting cones and you earn points for hitting, well, you don't earn points, but you need to hit a certain amount of cones to progress. There's other ones where you have to kind of slalom or avoid obstacles, so it mixes it up a little bit. They're just optional races just to get some extra XP. XP at the top there, the VP points, allows you to unlock new skins and other races. I'm just trying to get to a rally event. Oh, here we go. So yeah, as well as standard races, they've got these rally events, which is just basically you against the clock, and you have kind of got a co-pilot that will read out turns, which again is something a little bit different. And again, this is an event you do need to pass to progress in the story mode. You can hear they're very sort of Sega Rally-ish calls. So much so I think, I don't know if the sounds are actually being pulled directly from Sega Rally. Probably not, but it sounds very similar. So, completely short rallies to progress. There's also kind of at the end of each location where you're racing, you'll do like one single race or one single rally in each of the tracks in a location. And then at the end of that sort of tour as such, you get to do a Grand Prix where it basically strings them all together, gives you points for finishing first and second. And you've got to kind of finish in the top 3 again to progress there. Again, it's like just against no-name AI, it's a bit of a shame. Sometimes races will have a rival that you need to beat, but again, they're just called rival, they're not got any name. So I think they missed a real opportunity. You might see it here actually on the scoreboard. Okay, it doesn't even show the results. And again, that's another thing, another sort of presentation where it's lacking is, you know, it doesn't really give you much in the way of stats. I think this is just really, and it's gameplay wise, it's fine. It's a fun enough racing game. In terms of anything beyond that, it's for me a little bit lacking, and it isn't. I don't think it's one of the games I've come back to on the Switch in terms of racing games. I think there's better arcade racing games that offer more interesting unlocks, more interesting races, so you know you can be leveling up between races. This has got none of that. You can't really make yourself any better. So the incentive to keep playing is literally just to finish the story, and I think once you finish that championship story mode, I don't know what the motivation would be to come back and play this ever again, which is probably fine if it was a budget game, but it's like $25, £21, it's quite a lot for for in terms of like the longevity of the game, I don't think it's got staying power. So unless you've got mates that play it, or you just really love the gameplay, I don't think I'd come back to this one. If you think it looks interesting, let me know. Check out the comments below and leave me a comment. Drop me a like and subscribe if you're interested. But yeah, my sort of recommendation for this is wait for a sale for definite. I don't think it's worth the asking price at full asking price. I just don't think there's enough here to keep you interested longer term. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that look at Victory Heat Rally. As I say, leave me a comment if you did. If not, I'll catch you all on the next one. Thanks for watching and catch you next time. Cheers everyone. Bye bye.